Hi there, Simon here from Next Eco Car and the Irish EV Owners Association. So I've managed to get hold of the new updated MG ZS EV for a couple of days. So I'm going to go through the car, do a bit of a review, and also going to do a range test over the next couple of days as well. See how close we can get to the quoted 440 kilometers, which is what's quoted on the WLTP cycle for this car now. So that'll be interesting, and it's not that warm at the moment, maybe about 5 or 6 degrees, so we'll see how we get on with that. But yeah, this the new version of the car, obviously the previous version of the car was here in Ireland for just over a year already and has sold very well and been very popular. So this new updated model has a much bigger battery, 72 kilowatt hour battery, as compared to the previous model, which was only 45. So that was giving a realistic range I found last year of 200 to 240 kilometers, maybe a little bit more, depending on the sort of driving you're doing. So this is a much bigger range car, or at least what's quoted in the figures, so we'll see how we get on with that. The car still comes in two different spec levels, the Excite and the Exclusive. So this is the higher spec of the two cars, and as you can probably see, this one has the panoramic roof. The higher spec car also has some nice touches like roof rails and a conductive charging pad as well now. So yeah, I'm going to go through, do a bit of review, do a range test and see how we get on the car. So thanks for watching. So start off by having a bit of a look around the car. As you can see, compared with the previous model, the front is quite different, quite a nice facelift on the front, a lot prettier to look at, and I think the other thing we'll notice as well is this much simplified arrangement with the charging flap there. We'll have a more detailed look at that later. But yeah, it's a nice looking car, and the infotainment system is much improved as well. We'll go through that at some stage as well, but for now, just have a quick walk around and have a look. So the car still has the 17-inch wheels. Nice design, I'm sure you'll agree. And because this is the higher spec of the two versions available, this also has things like the panoramic sunroof and the roof rails. As you can see, there's some nice improvements to the interior. There's now this red stitching on the leather seats on this Excite spec model. Good use of materials. There's also this kind of padded effect material here and across the dashboard. Nice chunky steering wheel. In the back, again, nice seats, nice use of materials. Quite a good bit of leg room there. I'm only about 5'7", 5'8", so I'm not sitting that far back, but yeah, there's good decent space there and plenty of headroom as well. Come around the back, styling's pretty similar to the previous model. In the boot, got the good deep boot. I'll get the stats on exactly how big that boot is. Comes with 2 cables, so type 2 cable, and there's in the MG bag there is also a granny cable with a 3-pin plug. And this sort of boot floor is quite deep and has quite a big lip, but there's an additional storage area underneath there for all your cables, and you can actually change the height of the boot. There's a different stay there, so you can raise the floor level if you like. So thought I'd just do a quick rundown on the internal features of the MG ZS EV, the new 22 version. So as you can see from the initial view of the dashboard in front of us, quite different to the previous version, which had more sort of manual dials. Now we have a completely digital dashboard, so you've got your speed on the left and your power usage on the right, so a bit like a rev meter. In the center section, we've got this kind of optional display depending on what you want to view. This particular view is showing us the accumulated total mileage that we've done today and so on, so the driving time and the kilometers, the average speed and the kilowatt hours per 100 kilometer, which we've achieved 19.1 today. The display there at the top shows you basically the activity with the electric motor and the battery and so on when the car is going along. Also, we see there, bottom left hand corner, you've got the driving mode. So we've got 3 driving modes in this car, which is toggled on this mode switch down here. So as you can see, normal mode, eco mode and sport mode. So in eco mode, the kind of performance of the car is dulled down to enable greater range. In sport mode, it's much more feels much more nippy, much more responsive to the throttle pedal. So yeah, inevitably in sport mode you'll get less range than normal or eco mode. In the bottom right hand corner, we've got the 2 pieces of information. 40% is the current state of charge of the battery, so I've just put a charge in here just to get enough to get home to Dublin. And then in the little circle there is basically the regenerative braking. Now there are 3 levels of regenerative braking in this car, and if you're not familiar with that, what that basically allows you to do is as you back off the accelerator, the car will start to brake, and whether you like that mode of driving, you can almost drive in a single pedal mode if you're at the highest level, whereas you'll get more coasting in level 1. So again, this toggle switch KERS kinetic energy recovery system is analogous with regenerative braking. So yeah, we can toggle that setting here, and as you can see, 3 modes, 1, 2 and 3, depending on what your driving preference is. I tend to use 3 in urban driving and probably 1 on the more motorway or dual carriageway type driving, and probably 2 on A-road type stuff. So then well, actually go back here for a second, just scroll through some of this other options. So basically you've got this other display here which is basically showing you your surrounding traffic and so on. If we were moving along, we'd see where other cars are, and it also shows you the lane. So this car has what's called MG Pilot, which is basically some not autonomous driving features, but safety driving features. So it can either remind you or help you stay in your lane. It's got adaptive cruise control as well, which basically will drive you at a particular speed but keep you a distance from the car in front. If the car in front slows down or so on, and all of this is kind of shown in this particular display, where we can see other traffic or pedestrians and things like that. Then on this display, fairly standard, we've got the sort of the tyre pressure showing, and also the voltage of our 12-volt battery. Some settings here. Luminance level is basically the brightness of the display. Currently got that on medium, but you can have it more dim or brighter depending on what you want. Overspeed is basically MG speak for putting basically a speed warning on. So I've got that set to 120, which is obviously the upper speed limit here in Ireland. So if you go above 120, you'll get a warning popping up on the dash, and you can tailor that to whatever you want, or you can turn it off altogether. And there we go, back to the first display we were looking at. On the steering wheel, we've got fairly standard audio controls to control the radio or the music streaming. And then on the right, we've got the basically the controls I was using just there to toggle through these different displays on the dashboard, and also we can talk to the car and use voice control to tell it what to do, and that's what that button's for here. Now moving on to the center, we've got the main infotainment system. Now this is the home page, and it kind of shows you a summary of everything you want to know. Top left is our state of charging. Also, what's interesting on this particular model, the higher spec, the exclusive spec MG ZS, we have what's called vehicle to load as well, which basically shows or allows you to plug other appliances into the car and use the battery in the car to run those. So you might be able to charge a friend's car, for example, or if you were camping, use that to power certain things. Whether that's useful to you or not, I'll let you decide, but you can get an optional cable from MG to use that feature, and that's what this charging display is for, and it will show you certain information if you've got that plugged in. We've also got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto for anyone who wants to use those features rather than the standard infotainment, and you can toggle between those and the standard infotainment system. Apple CarPlay is great, particularly if you want to use something like Spotify for music or Google Maps for navigation. In the center we've got the audio, so at the moment that's on the radio, and on the right we've got the nav, and this is a touch screen, so you can touch on these particular areas to go into a particular set of displays. So actually I just wanted to show the map, but anyway, we'll go back to the home page. I'll click into this, and there's the radio. Obviously I have a bit of learning still on how to use these features on this display. Now there's also another page, if you scroll across, showing you basically lots of settings and so on. Particular interest in here, the vehicle option. If we go into MG Pilot, this allows you to configure all of your autonomous driving features, like the lane assistance I was talking about, front collision assistance, so that will notice if something is coming up in front of you, pedestrian automatic emergency braking system, rear driving assistance, so what's happening behind you or walking across behind you when you're parked and so on, which is very useful. Now we go back to the home page, so you'll notice I can use either these piano keys as shortcuts down here, or I can use the touch screen. I've got those different options. On the right hand side here I've got the aircon situation, so, and also the heated seats, so I can turn on the heated seats from here. It's only one level. I found it okay for what I need. Some cars have multiple levels of heating on the seats, but depends what you prefer. This only has one level, but I found it absolutely fine. Now if we wanted to actually turn on the heat, we can do that there. I've been running about 21-22 degrees, and obviously all the options to change where you want the air flowing and so on. Again, you can use the piano keys down here to adjust the heat up and down, and also the fan speed, or to turn it off altogether. And we've got a shortcut key there as well, piano key for the audio volume, so your passenger can control that as well if they need to. There we've got the conductive charging pad, which is a feature in this exclusive spec model. So if your phone can do conductive charging, that's a very handy feature, and the two USB ports there. The keys there for the mode and the curves I've already shown you. Battery basically just gives you a shortcut to the battery information display, so I can see very quickly at the click of that button what my state of charge is and my estimated range and so on. You can also set on here the level of charge that you want to get to when your car is charging overnight. I got caught out by that last night because it was only set to 80%, so one worth understanding. In the center here, so we've got the main drive selector, so reverse, neutral, drive and park. So press down for park, foot on the brake to start, as with any automatic transmission. So let's put it into drive, we just toggle it to the right, left for reverse, and you'll see in reverse the camera comes on automatically, and this is a 360 camera, so this is a nice feature. You can pick where you want to see, so even if you're driving forward in a difficult parking space or doing a parallel park, that's a useful feature. So, and then of course we've got the parking brake, so electronic parking brake in this car, and we've got the automatic brake, so that stops you rolling back, and yeah, basically that engages as soon as you stop the vehicle, so that's handy, saves you sitting on the brake. Nice cubbies here, so as you can see, a couple of spots for cups, decent cubby there for keeping snacks and other things. And yeah, generally a very nice interior. I love the panoramic roof. Of course, the controls for that are up here on the roof, so you've one for the blind which goes back and forth, and one to open the actual roof itself, which is nice. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a good idea of all the features. Electric windows there, of course, locking controls, everything you need. So I hope that helps you understand all the features of the car.